Hello everyone. If it's your first time to the channel, welcome, and if it's not, welcome back. For those of you who may not know who I am, my name is Fernando Perez, and I finished 17th or top 32 at the CoreTCG regional at the beginning of February. I've been a little bit under the weather, so I haven't been posting as much as I used to, but I do plan on getting back into the grind a little bit. I did just receive my prizing as well, so I figured I would open up some of the prizing and go over the deck list that I used to finish top 32. I did play Smoker. The reason I chose Smoker, I've played Dofi before. In this meta, I've played some other decks. I kind of wanted to do something a little bit more lighthearted. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to play out the entire day. But I ran Smoker at my New Year's event, and it did pretty good. I figured it has an okay matchup. It's like a Black Shanks, if you will. You have a lot of 50-50 matchups, or a lot of pretty close matchups, and even your bad matchups don't seem unwinnable as long as you kind of know how to navigate them. The worst matchups being the other black decks. So being Teach, BY Luffy and Lucci all can be pretty rough, but they are still winnable. And I figured most of the meta would be Dofi or like Dofi oriented, so I was hoping I wouldn't see too many Teach. And then BY Luffy, because of Tashigi, you can still do pretty alright into the matchup. So we can start off with my deck list, then maybe I'll talk about some of my matches a little bit more and kind of how my day went. So for my deck list, I'm going to start off with the searchers or the filter of the deck. So I am playing 4 of the Sengoku. Sengoku is a staple in this deck. It's just it's so good at you don't always have a lot of trash, and so he does really well at filtering out your trash, or at least like adding things to your trash. And then, sorry, let me lower the light a little bit. Okay, that's a little bit better. He's really good at putting things in your trash and kind of cycling out some of the dead cards out of your hand, because we do run a decent bit of dead cards. And so like late game, playing them off of a Moria when you're bricked up and just need to survive one more turn is really nice. Playing him early as well to set up your trash for the rest for like your future turns is really nice. So I think he's mandatory at 4. I wish he was a 1-2. He'd be so good as a 1-2. Being a 1-1, he can't trade into like your 1-cost searchers like your Utas or Peronas or Sengokus or things like that, which sucks at times. But he's still a really good card. Now the actual searcher of the deck is a brand new. You have to run it at 4. It's just a Navy searcher that also fills up your trash, which is really nice. Then we'll move on to our KO package or our KO engine. I'm only running 2 Brooks. I only own 2. If I owned more, I probably would up the amount. And so to make up for only owning 2 Brooks, I am playing 3 Kobes. I think Kobe is like the slept on MVP of the deck, because he can win you so many matchups. I do wish I played him at 4, because my last round I was 8-1. I played against a Pluffy, and you kind of need to see Kobe early against Pluffy to win that matchup, or to like help you in that matchup, and I didn't see him, and he saw the nuts. He saw like perfect curve Pluffy. But had I had Kobe, then maybe it would have been a different story. So I do kind of wish I'd ran him at 4, because I don't have the other Brooks. But if you have more Brooks, and you can just keep Kobe at 3 and then just add Brooks. Then also for my KO engine, I am running a 1 of Rob Lucci. I've been asked on Twitter if like in what situations Rob Lucci comes up, and he actually won me 2 games. He won me a Dofi matchup and a Pluffy matchup. I had a 3-cost Tashigi already on board, so I was able to use 3-cost Tashigi with leader ability, and then play out a Rob Lucci. And it was a Tashigi to minus a Weevil, then Ice Age to minus a Boa, and then play out the Rob Lucci. And I was able to kill a Weevil and a Boa, and that just gave me enough like tempo and enough board presence to then just kind of like win the game from there. I was also able to use him in a Pluffy matchup. I paired him with Kuzan. I swung with Kuzan minus forward a Sangoro, and then use Ice Age on a Luffy Taro and then Lucci, and then I was able to get rid of both. So I do run him as a 1 because he can clog in your hand. Not being a Navy means you can't pitch him off Sengoku, which kind of sucks at times. And so it's hard to get him in grave at times, unless you like just happen to mill him off of a brand new. And then like Dofi can rebounce into your hand, and he's just kind of a brick there. But You can pitch him off Kobe. You can pitch. I am running a 1 of 9 that costs Kaido, so you can pitch him off that if you ever need to. And I think as a 1 of, he's just really really good. The actual like MVP of the deck is Tashigi. She's just really really good. She's good in every single matchup, even against Teach, where you can't use her on play. You can still use her activate main, so you just pair her with Ice Age, and you can get rid of a Burgess, which is what's really scary in the black matchup. And then the last few KOers, I am running a one of Kaido. He could be a 2, but I think as a 1, he's just good enough. There are matchups where he's just stuck in your hand and you never get a chance to play him, and so I think that's why running a lot more of him can be a little clunky. But when he's good, he's good. You can use him against Pluffy to get rid of a Luffy Taro, or anything lower than a Luffy Taro, obviously. But I used him in one of my matchups to get rid of a Luffy Taro, or a Sanji. I'm sorry, I used him to get rid of a 7-cost Sanji. And then they pitch a card, I pitch a card, but I don't really care too much about pitching cards because I can pitch just all of my my bricks, and then later on just use Value More just to refill my hand. And then the last KOer, I am running. We get into our 2K package, 2 of T-Bone. On play, it kills a 2 cost, and it's a 2K, so you can get him back with Rebecca. You can use him if you don't have some of your other like KOers at times. He's really good. And then now we're getting into like our reduction side of the deck. And I am running 4 Suru, of course, 1 cost minus 2, a 1 cost minus 2 cost on play, which is really, really nice. I'm running 4 Tashigi, same thing. So it's a 3 cost I can minus 2. There are times where like on 3 Dawn, if I don't have a Brook, I don't have I would probably want to use a Kobe on 3, but there's times where I'll just play her out, swing 5, play her out, and just use her for later turns. If they get rid of her, like if they bounce her, she's still a 2K that comes back to your hand. If they KO her, then you can always get her back with Rebecca later on. And so she's probably one of your better targets in Grave, because like Surus you can't get back with Rebecca. I am playing 4 Hina. Hina's just really solid. You can bring her back from Rebecca, and you can always just do Rebecca, Hina, Lucci, which is still a nice combo. There's not much to say. She's vanilla stats that on play gives -4, which is really, really good. If I was going to bump up like the 4th Kobe, then maybe like the 4th Hina would be what I would cut. But seeing Hina a lot of times is really, really nice. I am playing 2 Kuzan. I would probably bump Kuzan up to 3, and I'm running Borsellino as well. I'd probably cut 1 Borsellino and up to Kuzan. Kuzan is just really good. In most matchups. Like against Dofi, he's not always the best, but in a late game grind, like if you make it to the end against Dofi, you can always just play him later and just kind of refill hand and stuff. So that's not bad if they end up bouncing it to you. But against Dofi, he's not the best, but against like against Pluffy, against Shanks, against pretty much every other matchup, he's just really, really good. And then last reducers, obviously 4 Ice Age is just, Ice Age is just insane. And then for the last few cards, 4 Moria, of course, just it's a broken card, and 4 Rebecca, both of them are broken. Both of them have arguments to be made to be banned. They're just both really, really good. And then for the final cards, I'm running 3 Borsellino. I would probably cut this down to 2. Honestly, it's not bad against certain matchups, but most of the time you have it in hand, you find yourself just pitching it, or just you use it maybe late game. It's good against Enel, so you kind of need to run it. It's good against yellow just in general, Katakuri, Enel, things like that. Against black, it's not bad, but it's okay. I'd probably cut this down to 2, maybe bump up the Kuzan to 3, add the 4th Kobe, and I'd cut a Hina. And then that would be like some of the changes I would probably make if I was going to make changes to this specific deck. Like I said, if you have more Brooks, you can add more Brooks, but it decently budget in this way, and it's just kind of what I had. Now, to talk about some of my matchups, I played 3 Dofi, I played 4 Pluffy, I played an Enel, a red yellow Sabo, and I played against a Lucci. My first matchup was against a Pluffy. I was able to take it. Second matchup was against red yellow Sabo. I was able to take it. I went up against another Pluffy. I was able to take that. I went up against, I think, I went up against a Dofi. I was able to get it. Then Then I went up against a Enel, which went into overtime. And unfortunately, I got it in overtime, which didn't feel amazing, but he just kept putting things into my life. So, which at one point I had 8 life, and I just kept playing the resources game. I just kept looping like value Morias, using Moria, and I know someone asked on Twitter, so I'm going a little bit more in depth about this one. Using value, like my value engine, the Morias to get back Kuzans to draw, kept playing Kuzans to kind of cycle through my deck, and just Rebecca's to get stuff back from trash and just kind of replaying it. I was able to get rid of 2 10-cost Ace and 2 9-cost Yamatos and 2 8-cost Katakuris. Like that's how long the game went. It was just very back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I was still at 3 life when it was the end of overtime, and I was able to clear his 10-cost Ace, and all he had left was a 9-cost Yamato. So like in the long run, I was winning it because my last 3 life were geckos, so I was going to start getting geckos back. Like I said, it is unfortunate that I was able to that I took it that way, but we were able to get it. Round 6 was another Dofi. I was able to get that one. Unfortunately, I made a little bit of a mistake where I played out a Brook, and no, I went to swing with the Brook, and I said on Brook swing KO a Boa. And my opponent said that didn't say -1, so it was still at 1. So that sucked a little bit, but I did have a Kobe in hand, which I then just played the Kobe, pitched the card, and killed the Boa anyway. And I still had 2 life, so he couldn't kill me, and I was able to win from there. Against Dofi, you do want to go first. Ideally, if you can see Brook on 3, you play Brook, and then you can play Tashigi on 5, and then you just kind of like go from there. But if they go first, it can be really scary. Round 7 was actually my first loss. I played against Kevin Zhao. It was just on stream a little bit. Jonas played beforehand, and then Jonas's match finished really quickly, and so then they put the end of our game on there, and I just didn't see any removal at the end that I needed. And he was able to Jinbei Boa. Boa found him a Moria off top, and with the Moria, he was able to get back another Boa, and so he played double blocker to cancel me out, or to lock me out from winning the game. And his last life was a Gravity Blade trigger, which sent, I think I had a Kobe on board at that time. I was going to be able to go like 4 times. But him finding the Mori off the top to get him back that other Boa into a Gravity Blade trigger was just too much. I wasn't able to push through. And I didn't draw anything to KO any of his guys. So that was unfortunate, but that was my first loss. So I still felt pretty good. I was 6-1 at that point. So now I went on. Next round, I played my 3rd Ploofy. Same thing, I was able to get that. In the Ploofy matchup, you want to go second, which I know sounds weird because Ploofy wants to go first. But if they see Zoro Juro on 4, on your 4, you want to play Kobe, put one on leader ability minus the Zoro, and then you can use Kobe to kill the Zoro. And then next turn, you're at 6 Dawn. So now you can Tashigi there, either Zoro or Sanji. And then you're just kind of off to the races. And then little by little, you just keep clearing one character at a time if you can. And because you're pressuring 7k with leader from then on, you're able to exert enough pressure to also get like a bunch of cards out of their hand. Yeah, so I was able to get that one. And then last 2 rounds, I played against a Lucci, which Lucci is honestly, I feel like a really bad matchup for us just because they're more efficient than we are. They can kill 2 things more efficiently than we can, and so like we're killing 1 thing at a time, and their Moria just gets more value than ours does. And then leader ability being an 8, whereas like we have to put a Dawn under our leader to do ours to -1, it just puts us at a disadvantage. I did choose to go second, which if they play Jack on 7, you just can't win most of the time. But you just kind of if you go first, they're going second, so then now like they can always just Ice Age Jack on 8 anyway, or like Tempest Kick Jack, which still feels really bad. So you kind of have to go second and just hope he doesn't have the Jack on 7, which my opponent didn't. And so he I think he ended up playing like a Tempest Kick Lucci to clear some of my stuff, and then from there I was just able to do like get value Moria into 9-cost Kaido. And so I was just able to grind him out of resources, and I was able to take that game. And so that was 8-1. I was feeling good. last round to play another Ploofy. So it's my fourth Ploofy, which probably I wasn't expecting 4, but I did have it. I did practice enough into the matchup. Same thing. I think he won the die roll. I really don't remember. Either way, like I would have chose second. He would have chose first. And he just saw Zorojiro into Luffy Taro into Zorojiro into Luffy Taro into Zorojiro, and then and I didn't have the Kobe on 4, so his Zorojiro stuck, and it just kept. He just was able to apply too much pressure, and so I just wasn't able to do anything, and that's exactly why I would bump up Kobe to 4, just because of that matchup, and against Dofi too. Kobe's just really, really good, and so you just need to see him when you need to see him. Brook is also really good, but honestly, I feel like Kobe's just better right now because the 3 makes a huge difference against Shanks as well. I like Ice Age. Like it's hard to get things down to 0 against Shanks. Like they have 8 cost characters, they have 10 cost characters. Against Shanks, you can just Ice Age Kobe, and that kills Rayleighs and dragons. And for Brook, like you have to find ways to get that extra reduction. So I did finish and I did finish 8-2. I was hoping for a top 16, but I finished 17th, which is a little frustrating. But I wasn't. It was a nice surprise still to finish top 32 with Smoker, which up until that point hadn't topped, at least here in the East. So that was nice. All right, and finally, let's get into some of the prizing. So for, I think, top 64, you do get a Sangoro. So there's my Sangoro. I was able to get some Shank sleeves, 3 event pack volume 5s. I was able to get, which is in this nice little case, but I was able to get 3 of the Hollow Dawn, and then I was able to get 6 packs of OP09, which we can open up now. So we did get a 20 Doctors, a Buckin, Charlotte Parlay, Nitro. Well, we've probably opened enough. Oh wait, let's just kind of go through the back and see what we get. We got a The Earth Will Not Lose and a Carrot. Packs are a little. There we go. Same thing. We got a Wanda. And a, can you see? Hey, we got an S-Snake. That's not bad. That is not bad. Actually, I think that's an alt S-Snake. Boa is my Boa is my girl. I love me some Boa. I'm glad that she's finally starting to be a little bit more meta now. We got a Dalton, a Cloven Rose, and a Dawn. An Imperial Flame and a Bonnie. Bonnie is not a bad card. She's alright. She can be played in some yellow decks. But, we got a Electrical Luna. Oh, that's not a bad pickup. And a Zoe. Electrical Luna is going to see a lot more play in the next few sets. So that's not a bad pickup. Finally, we got a Sasaki, a Wapol, and another Dawn. So nothing crazy, nothing amazing, but some solid cards there. Let's open up our event packs. Why not? So we got the Zorojiro. That is not bad. I love me red purple Luffy. That might be the next deck that I try to do a little bit to do something with. A Koala. That's a nice one. I think that's the only way you can get that Koala. It's like it's the Nami that gives Dawn. But for Revolutionary Army. And we got a Chopper. So those are our event packs. That's our prizing. If you made it this far, thank you all so much. I appreciate all of the love, all of the support. And yeah, I'll keep trying to make a little bit more videos, keep trying to do better at events, whatever I can get into. And lastly, I do want to shout out my amazing wife for staying with her newborn son while I was able to compete, and my team, Meta Monster Gaming, for all of the love and support they provide me. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope that you have an amazing day.